Hello and welcome once again to another video, and this is a very adorable, very small mouse I've done. He's really simple to do and haven't added many intricate details, so he looks adorable and is fluffy. So I'll show you how I made it step by step. And the scarf he's wearing, I did it with crochet, so I learned all my crochet from YouTube, so I'm sure you can find a tutorial on that. But it's really simple, just single crochets done in a line. So I started off with a pipe cleaner, and I just measured out around 4 inches how big I wanted it to be, and I'm bending the top of it. So this is going to be the muzzle, you can say, because the rabbits don't have a pointy mouth. So around 2 centimeters, making a little foot, twisting the pipe cleaner. And it's easy to work with pipe cleaners because they bend really easily and you can twist them around. But to be more robust and to add more strength, you can use the aluminum craft wires as well. And because it's a very little piece, it doesn't matter. If you're doing bigger pieces, then I would recommend wire with more strength, because pipe cleaners are really flimsy. So I'm just folding over, making tiny arms. So I'm using just one pipe cleaner to make the whole armature of the whole bunny. And as you can see, I haven't cut them. I've just taken one pipe cleaner and folded it over to make two arms. And I folded over the sharp edge on the head. So this is it. This is the small armature. Now I'm going to cover it with wool, and I'm using cordell slivers. And slivers are easier to work with because they come in strips and they can be rolled over any kind of armature. And the pipe cleaners really help in holding on to the wool. So if you're using the aluminum wires, it's recommended that you use a pipe cleaner on top of them. That holds the wool very well. So I'm making the head, and I'm going to keep adding, and I've sketched it out how I want the bunny to look. And so I've bent it over the pointy end so that becomes the nose, but I don't want it to be pointy, so I'm adding wool all around it and going in circles. I'm pushing the wool back with my needle so I don't get a pointy end. If I was making a mouse, then I would have added wool right till the end of the pipe cleaner. I'm adding wool to the limbs as well. These are the tiny feet sticking out. I've added more wool to the body part of it, and you can keep adding wool until you get the right shape and you're happy with it. And you have to keep stabbing it until it's quite firm. Now I'm covering the pointy end of the pipe cleaner and rolled some wool around it, so this becomes the little muzzle where the nose and the mouth are going to be. So now it looks more like a polar bear. but you can just determine where the eyes are going to be while you make it firmer. Now making a small triangle, and this is going to sit on top of the head just to give it the right shape of a bunny, and the triangle comes down as the nose, and it sits where I've made the muzzle. So now you can see it's taking shape of a bunny face. Now I'm going to make another very small triangle and another one. So I'm going to make two of them and add them as tiny cheeks. So this is going to form the head of the bunny. With a finer needle, I'm defining the eyes, the eye sockets, and this is where the eyes are going to sit. And just shaping out the nose and the line of the mouth. I'm rolling tiny pieces of black wool to form the eyes, and I'm just going to push that into the socket that I had defined with my finer needle, and just stab it all around so I get a rounded eye. So it has to be the same on both sides. I'm just shaping them with my needle. I'm adding tiny pieces of wool right below the nose so it forms a better shape of the mouth, and just placing it right under the nose. And another tiny piece that makes the actual lower part of the mouth. Still, the head seemed a bit flat, so I've added more wool so it looks more rounded. Now I'm going to cover it with grey. I'm using a merino top. I think it's called Heron. The shade is called Heron, and you can use any shade that you want. So I'm going to cover the whole body, and added little wool to the head because I have to add the ears first, and then I'm going to cover the rest of it. On the thighs, I've taken a bit more wool and folded it over so it looks a bit more chunky. Just fold it over and placed it where the thigh should be on the side. Now I've just tapped it down and white wool for the tummy. These are the ears, just folded over because I'm using the same colored wool and I don't want the ears to be very thick. I haven't used the core wool in them, just using the color, and they're going to be really tiny, so it doesn't make any sense to use the coral, because that's just going to make the ears very thick, and I don't want that. Just trying to flatten them out. Now to make two of the same shape. Now I'm adding little very light baby pink color. Just the details of the ears, and I've left one side of them fluffy, and that is going to be used to attach them to the head. I'm going to iron them out using a hair straightener so I get a nice crisp edge to it. I'm adding the grays to the limbs. Now I'm going to attach the ears, and I'm placing them with pins first so I know exactly where to attach them. And just fold them a bit so they give a nice rounded shape. And then I'm going to felt them down using my needle. Now I've put on the scarf, and I think it needs a little bit more details just around the eyes. So I've taken a very thin strand of white wool, and I'm going carefully around the black part of the eyes that I had felted on, so I don't lose the shape and I give it a white outline, and it makes a lot of difference. So I'm just going all around it and cutting the extra bit. So now you can see the difference. I'm using my eye shades to give it a little bit of color. I know you're supposed to use that powder pastels, but I think the eye shades work as well. So I've added a fluffy tail, just a piece of wool. I folded it over and I'm felting it down right from the middle, adding more wool to it, and then I'm just going to cut it so it becomes fluffy. Now I wanted to give it a more fluffy look, so I'm using my reverse needle and my toothbrush, and I'm going carefully over it so I don't pluck out the white part of the fur of the bunny. The core wool doesn't come out. I'm very lightly doing it with my reverse needle and just a very light fluff, and I'm shaping it. Just going to brush it and then give it a trim. Now I'm going to add whiskers, and I've got the fishing wire. I've cut down around 6 pieces of it. I'm adding glue and just inserting it where I made a hole with the owl tool. You can use a pin for it as well, and that's going to hold. And then I'm cut the extra bits off. So this is the bunny with the scarf around. Now I've tied it up again, and he looks super adorable. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching.